All right.
Let's go to moon. Let's go to moon. Sir,
All
when
right.
moon?
When moon? Yeah, let's see. Let's see. All right, guys. Hey, apologies for the delay. We had some technical issues with the permissions, so we finally managed, and it's nice to see some people that joined and show interest in our first AMA session. So, yeah, welcome. And yeah, so the agenda for today is to go through some of the issues that users have reported related to the testnet, and I'll try to show you how to get some of the more difficult tasks done so that you can all achieve the full points. So yeah, I
Sir,
suggest yes,
sir, I used the testnet some days ago. There was a problem like limit buy and limit sell.
yes,
I got fridge issue in the
yeah,
desktop.
yes. I'm
Uh,
going to
that
address
that
that. Yeah.
that problem is solved or not?
I'm going to address that. So you can still complete that issue. We have some issues with the trading page, but I'm going to show you how you can still make it. So I suggest you go on mute. I go through the questions that we posted in the AMA call. So let me. Do you see my screen, by the way? I don't think you do. Let me share my screen. Okay. You see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. All right. So here, how to complete the buy sell limit tasks. I will address that um, in this session. And after we went through these questions, I suggest that people can ask other questions. I don't know how something works or related to some other testnet tasks that I'm happy to answer. Um, okay, then I suggest we get started. So those of you that haven't registered yet, that are new to this channel. So we are running this testnet where users can try out the app that we built and in return earn a claim on the future DIVA token. And to register, it's pretty simple. So there is a register channel uh, in our Discord, and if you want to register, you type in a slash register, then you press blank, then you select the option address, and then you paste your address. So for instance, let me paste my test address like that. Wait, bam, and then it says I'm already registered. So actually, every Discord account can register only one address. And yeah, but if you're not registered, you basically receive, if you register for the first time, you receive such a message and you get 10,000 DUSD tokens on the Robson network. So these are just fake tokens that will get you started with using the app. In addition to that, in order to pay for gas on the Robson network, which is a Ethereum testnet, you will need some ETH, like on the normal um, Ethereum mainnet. So what I suggest is you find two faucets on in our documentation. So if you go to docs.divaprotocol.io under guides, if you click on app training, prepare, then you find, for instance, the paradigm faucet, which if you enter your address here, let me show that quickly. If you paste your address here on the Robson network, it will give you 100 ETH. I mean, that's like more than enough for you to interact. And click that box to also get it on other networks, just in case. And click claim. And yeah, after a bit of time, you should see your balance, ETH balance, going up to 100 in that case. So I already prepared the test account to showcase the tasks, to go through the tasks, but yeah, this will be updated very quickly, typically. All right, so that's the registration process. I hope it's pretty simple. We've covered that. We have covered that part. So how to obtain Robson ETH. So let's briefly check whether the balance went up. Not yet. Sometimes it takes a while. Okay, cool. Then how to complete, or yeah, let's go into the app real quick. So you can access the app via app.diva.finance. So if you open that, by default, it will show you the markets page where you see all the products that this particular address has created. This is just a test DIVA governance address. So the pools that you see here, or the products, these have been created by us, but you can also take any other address and check it here. But that's on a side note. So let's quickly, let me quickly show you where you find the tasks. So if you go to tasks, you find the whole list of tasks that testnet participants can complete and earn points that will then translate it to a claim on the future DIVA token. And every task is linked to a step-by-step description in our docs. So if you click on the link, you basically see all the docs and plus a screenshot. So oftentimes it helps to open the screenshot and just copy the configuration. So a lot of people had actually some problems with creating a linear pool, and I quickly want to demonstrate to you how that works. And all right, so you go to create. That's where you can create the pool. Like we can use an asset from this dropdown. Most people use just a standard asset. Maybe let's create some products on the Aave USD price. And you can set an expiry date. Maybe we can choose end of July, for instance. And then you also have to deposit some collateral. These are these tokens that you receive when you register. So you see I have already a balance here. So if you don't see this line, just try to refresh the page. So some people reported that they're not seeing this line and then receive a message. Typically refreshing the page should display that. So let's, for instance, deposit 100 of these DUSD tokens. And then to create the linear pool, you have to switch from binary to linear. But in addition to that, you now see that this is actually not a linear payoff. It's a binary, right? It's a step function. So actually what you have to do in addition, you have to change that value to something that is greater than the floor, say 300, right? So what you have here now is, okay, what's the Aave price right now? Let's check that just to create something meaningful. Okay, 61. So let's create a product, I don't know, that has a cap of 60 and the floor of 30, which basically means, okay, you are creating two positions. One short position, which is this greenish one, which will basically start paying out if the Aave dollar price drops below 60. And you have the other position, which we refer to as long, which is basically just the reversed, which has a reverse payout. So basically, when you create a pool, you get both these positions and they represent the claim on the collateral that you deposit. However, if you sell one side, you're basically exposed either to the up or downside. So just a little bit of background information on that part. So now that's the configuration, an example configuration for a linear payout. So you go to the next stage. So now you need to report someone who will report that value at the time of expiration. So during the testnet, we are running a centralized bot. Obviously, when we go on mainnet, we will have a more robust decentralized solution. So we're currently working with the Teller protocol team to integrate their solution into DIVA protocol as one of the possible data providers. And yeah, then here the last step, you're basically done. So you see all the inputs that you have done here. So you have to approve. If you're using DeFi a lot and ERC20 tokens a lot, you will know that process from, say, Uniswap, that you have to set an allowance in order to transfer the token to the protocol. So there's some background noise. Maybe people can go on mute. Can everyone go on mute, please? 1R, 1S. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Much better. Okay, now this is approved. Now I'll create that. And we confirm that. So it takes a while for the transaction to process. Monitor the progress here in MetaMask. All right. So now, as I said, what is happening? It's taking the 100 DUSD from your wallet, it's transferring it into the DIVA protocol, and in return you get these two positions with directionally reversed payoff patterns that combined represent the claim on the DUSD. So in theory, you can basically go back, give them back, and return your collateral. That's actually one of the tasks. All right, so should be done, will be displayed shortly. So perfect. Now you see a congratulations screen, which says, perfect, you have created this pool. So you have deposited the DUSD into a pool with that ID, and in return you received a long and a short token, right? And for convenience, we have added buttons which allow you to easily add it to MetaMask, so you don't have to import it manually. So let's add that real quick. Perfect. And you also have the possibility to click here and be redirected to Etherscan. All right, and if you click My Positions, you will see these positions here. Okay, so these are linear payoffs, and you can then, next step would be buy and sell, which I will show in a second. But let's first check whether it shows completed in the testnet tasks, which it does. So that's how you can complete the linear payoff task in case you have problems. All right, then let's move on to the next AMA question, which was about completing the buy and sell limit tasks. Okay, let's have a look. So it's about these two tasks here and here. So let's maybe start with the second one here, create a sell limit order that gets filled. Okay, and that gets filled is basically the important part. So just creating the order is not sufficient, and I'll explain you in a sec. So what I suggest is you take one of the positions that you have created and do the order tasks with those. The order book will be empty, right? Then there are no issues. I think the main problem problem is with the pools that you find on the markets page that already have a lot of existing orders. So here, actually, many people encounter these problems. So for now, I suggest just to complete the tasks, don't use the pools that are here, but instead go to My Positions and use one of the pools or one of the positions that you have created. So that's how you will make it. Let me demo that. So we have just created these position tokens, right? So that means I have them in my wallet, so I can sell them. Okay, so now maybe a little bit of background. So I have these two positions, right? If I hold them both, it's kind of like I don't have exposure to the up or downside. They combined represent the claim on the 100 DUSD that I deposited. So let's say I want to protect myself that AVA drops further. So meaning I want to hold a position that will gain in value if AVA drops below below 60, right? So here that's actually the position. So you see, as AVA drops below 60, the payout, which is shown here in green, increases. So neutralizing the losses that you incur on your AVA holdings. So that's actually the position I want to hold, right? So that means we're going to sell that one. So the long position. So we need to find someone that is taking the other side of the trade. Now we have these, and let's create an order. So let's try to sell all of them. Let's put 100, and again we are interacting. We're using an ERC20 token that is interacting with the DIVA, with a contract, with a smart contract. So we have to set the approval. I know it's a little bit like from a user experience, not the best process, but yeah, it is what it is for now. So it's approving. Okay, perfect. On successful approval, you get this message which says, okay, you can now start trading. And so you see the remaining allowance here. What I could do now, I could theoretically also place a bunch of smaller orders, and I don't need to reapprove it again as long as it's within that allowance. Maybe let me quickly demonstrate that. So let's try to sell 10 of these position tokens, like assets with this payout structure, for 25 cents. And we want this order to be valid for, say, 30 minutes. Okay. So if after 30 minutes nobody fills it, it will just automatically disappear from the order book. So create this order. You sign the intent to exchange the assets. So basically sell this asset position token against the collateral asset with your private key. That's what is happening here. It's an off-chain process. So we are using 0x for this trading part of the app. So you sign that, the order is created, and you see it shows up here. And now you can also create a second order. Let's say the other 10 you want to sell for a higher price, let's say 0.28, and create order, sign, bam, bam. You see there was no approval needed. It's very fast. The creation of orders happens on chain. And so basically just creating these orders will not render your task complete, because as I said, it's off chain. So we have actually no way to validate it on chain. That's why there needs to be someone that will actually fill this. So you can simulate that as follows. So let's switch the account. Okay, let's simulate someone else, okay, by switching the account. So now in my case, this account is already equipped with this token, which I have to basically use in order to pay for these position tokens that I'm going to purchase in a second. If you don't have a second account that is already prepared, so just create a second account in your MetaMask, create account, and then go to your normal account, send some ETH in order to pay for transaction costs, and send some DUSD as well, so that that account can basically buy it from you. And now you see you have to go to buy market, which basically means, okay, I just buy at the sell orders that exist. So I could buy 10 at that price, 10 at that price. So let's say I want to buy 5. Okay. Let's say I want to buy 7. So basically 7 out of 10. So fill order. Now the MetaMask pops up and I'll confirm. If you experience problems in buy markets, so try to reduce the amount. So sometimes it happens if you enter the exact amount that is here in quantity, so 10 for instance, it could happen that it throws an error. But yeah, just if you experience that, try a lower amount. So let's see whether the transaction is going through. Okay, perfect. You see it has completed. Instead of 10, you now see 3. And you also see that this account has now purchased 7 of these assets. And now let's go back to the testnet tasks and see. We have to switch back to our other account real quick. And unfortunately, we have to manually refresh the page. And then you see, now this task is completed. Okay. And now I'll show you how you can complete the other task. Let's go back. Let's go back to that position. So we basically have to create a limit order, and which has to be filled, a buy limit order. So previously we created the sell limit order, now we create a buy limit order. So what you can do, you can just switch to the account that you just sold these position tokens to, right? So you can oh no, that's actually not relevant for that. Oh, just ignore. Just, yeah, switch to an account that has some DUSD in order to pay for the position tokens that are going to be purchased. And let's say I want to buy 20 for a price of, I don't know, 0. Or let's say I want to buy 2 for a price of 0.2. Okay. And you see, this is actually the amount I have to pay is within my allowance, so I don't have to approve again. So that's why this goes faster a little bit, just for the sake of demonstration. Now this order is here. Now I need to make sure that someone actually fills it. So I switch back to, oh, sorry. Now I did a mistake. Sorry, apologize for that. Actually, I mixed up the accounts. So the account that is supposed to complete the task is test account 18 here. This account has to create the buy limit order. I apologize for that. So let's create a another buy limit order, and create one that will be above the best bid. Okay. So that means, so someone wants to buy 2 position token at 20 cents. If I say I want to buy, say, 1 position token at 21 cents, like in every order book that you, or if you're trading a lot on Binance or so, this will basically shift your order above that one. So let me demonstrate this to you quick. So I first have to approve in that case. Okay, that's approved, and now I create that order. Awesome, good, created. Okay, sometimes if it doesn't show up, just toggle between these tabs and then it will show up. So now I created, or the account that is supposed to complete the task created the buy limit order. Now we are going to fill it. So someone needs to sell it to us. Okay. So we switch to account 1. And now this account previously bought position tokens, so it has something to sell. So we can say, okay, let's sell 1. So again, we have to approve here. Yeah. I mean, in theory, you can set the approval to unlimited, but from a security perspective, it's best to just approve whatever you plan to spend, right? So that's why you these multiple approve steps in between. So yeah. All right, so let's see. Okay, that was approved. So I can now actually sell that position token. Okay. Now confirm. Confirm that. Now what you should see, we're trying to sell one to that guy. So this order will basically completely disappear from the order book once filled. And then we can check the task overview, and hopefully we will see the task being rendered complete. So let's wait for the transaction. Perfect. Transaction went through. You see this 21-cent buy order disappeared. So now let's go to the testnet tasks. So sometimes it doesn't refresh, or it takes a while to refresh. So just try to refresh the page. And sorry, I am again on the wrong account. I want to complete the task with test account 18, and you see it being rendered complete. So yeah, I think that's how you complete these two tasks. Are there any questions regarding these two tasks from the round? Let me check. Move my video. Okay. No questions as far as I can see. All right. Yeah, then I suggest we go to the last question that many people had problems with. It's report the final value. So it's that task here. Yeah, so for that we can also complete all the other tasks because they are all related. So let me demonstrate that and also give you a little bit of background on that task. So we will create a new pool, and let's use, I don't know, the ghost token as the underlying. And now the pool has to expire in order to report the value. So we actually have to choose a very short expiration time. So you put it to the current date, and it has to be like the minimum is 5 minutes from current time. So let's put it to 6 minutes away from current time. Put in 100. We can, I mean, it doesn't matter what you enter here, but just to demonstrate you a little bit the functionality of the app. So actually you can go and where's the ghost price now? So let's quickly check that. Ghost 130. So one meaningful product could be something like I don't know, 0 1 130 130 0 sorry 130, so something like that, maybe a more exotic payoff pattern where basically you have the long position which would pay out 1 as long as the ghost price stays above 130 at expiration, and if it goes down you take a hit of 20% immediately, and then it goes down linearly, and if you end up below $1, the long position will basically get a payout of 0, and the short position is basically just the reverse. All right, so let me quickly extend that amount so that we don't run into any issues. So I go next, and now the critical part here is I have to choose an account as the reporter that I control. So instead of selecting that one, you actually just paste your address. right? So you are now responsible for reporting that final value. And that's the critical step here. And let me trigger the transaction. I'll give you a little bit of background on that task. So the background is when you create these pools and these position tokens, you define the event, right? That determines the payoff of the long and short position tokens. That means there needs to be someone who is reporting the price now in our case, or the value of the underlying metric or the reference asset, how we call it in the app. And in the case of DIVA protocol, the report is just an Ethereum address. So it can be like a human individual, like I have done it now. I'm a human reporter, right? For instance, I don't know if two banks create some derivatives using the DIVA app and they trust a third party, they could actually enter the third party's address here, and this third party will be responsible to report that value when the pool expires. However, I think most users on our platform would probably prefer a decentralized Oracle solution like Teller, for instance. And yeah, if you use a decentralized solution like Teller, you will not have to report, or you will not have to report any values. So basically, if you buy a long or short position, right, so the value will be reported automatically. So the only thing you have to do is, following expiration, just redeem your share of the collateral. Yeah, that's just much better user experience. But there can be cases where people prefer to select one individual, one human reporter, and for that you basically need to have an option to submit a value. And that's basically the whole purpose of the task, to show that this functionality exists in DIVA protocol. All right, this pool has been created now. Ignore that message for now. We'll fix that. So if you go to my positions, you will see these two positions. And now you see that this pool is expiring in 3 minutes. And what you also see, what many people didn't see, and we're asking in Discord, is you see the data feeds, because I put this account as the reporter. So because I did that, this now shows up here, showing to me that I have to report a value for a pool that will expire in 2 minutes. So right now the status is open. That means it has not expired yet. The final value and hence the payoff of this position tokens have not been determined yet. And yeah, so I'm going to do that in a sec. So we'll have to wait 2 minutes. And yeah, while waiting, let me check the chat whether there are any questions from the round. If you have any questions, just post it. Yeah, or ask. Yeah, perfect. Go ahead.
Yeah, there is a question on the AMA call channel.
AMA call channel. I'm here.
The one for the questions.
Ah. The main nets, I mean, target is later this year. So the testnet is running until end of September. So hopefully by then we have the app ready and we can initiate all the preparations for the mainnet launch. I mean, no exact date yet, but goal is towards the end of the year. And yeah, so I hope that answers your question. All right, let's check where we stand on that one. Might need to refresh here. Okay, less than 1 minute. We are almost ready to submit a value. So let's do that real quick. So yeah, on the main, I mean, while we're waiting, I can just spend a few more words on the mainnet launch. So like what you see here in terms of design will not be the final layout. So we are working on new designs, which will be much more intuitive and much nicer. So like the current focus, basically getting the functionality right, and yeah, after that we will have a few upgrades on the design side, and we'll share it in the Discord with the community once we get there. So let me see. Oh, perfect. Now this pool has expired. So now I'm supposed to report the value of Ghost at that point in time. Okay, so I don't know, if I was a reporter, I could go here and say, okay, it's 131. Okay, so 131 would basically, okay, 131. Okay, I submit that value, and this is a transaction that you have to confirm. Now let's wait for this transaction to go through, and then we'll check the task list, whether it's reflected as completed. Okay, takes a while. Okay, now it's done. Doesn't reflect automatically sometimes. We're working on that. But now you see, okay, now this value has been submitted. Okay. Then I am then what position token holders of the long and short side would see is, okay, this value has been submitted, and the value that the report is proposing is 131. So what does that mean? If you remember, if it's 131, that means this long position will pay out 1, okay? And if you switch here to the short position, at 131, the short position will pay out 0, right? So these are the payouts, and they're also displayed here. So the payout multiplied by how many position tokens you own, you'll basically see it here. And let's briefly check whether this task has been rendered complete, and voila, you see it works. So yeah, and so some people were also complaining on the transfer fee claim. So maybe I can briefly demonstrate to you how to complete the remaining task. It will not take that long anymore. So now if we have a human reporter, if we have selected a new human reporter, and that human reporter has reported through the app, each position token holder has the possibility to challenge the submitted value. Okay, so for instance, if I disagree, I could say, hey, look, the price was not 130, but 130, 125. For whatever reason, maybe I have a different source and I disagree. So I could submit a challenge. And with that, signal to the data provider that I disagree. So it's also an on-chain transaction. Let's wait until this goes through. Yeah, takes a while it's confirming anything else that is in the AMA chat. Okay, good. I'll answer that question in a sec. Let's quickly check. Okay, the transaction went through. I challenged that. So yeah, we will have to work on updating that. But now you see also the status has changed to challenge. The final value has not changed because that's actually the current value that would be used for settlement that the reporter has reported. But now basically the reporter will see the status also changing to challenge, and he will also see what has been proposed as a new value, right? Let's briefly check whether this challenge task has been completed. It has, as you can see here. Okay. Now, what are the options for the reporter? Let's quickly go through that. So if something has been challenged, the reporter has basically two options. He has actually three options, but let's make it kind of like make it simple. So he could submit a new value. So he could say I'll submit 1.32 or 1.25, for instance, right? This would trigger another round of a challenge period, which we don't want in the interest of time. The reporter could also reconfirm what he submitted. So he could say, no, what I submitted before is actually correct. So I submit the same value. And with that, I confirm the previous value. And with that, the payouts will be determined for the short and long position side. So this will now switch from challenge to confirmed. And when something is confirmed, users or the position token holders can actually go and redeem their tokens. So yeah, as I said, like this challenge part is only relevant for human reporters that report through the app. If you select the Teller Oracle, the first value that will be submitted will directly confirm or will directly kind of like be confirmed, and users can start redeeming. So you basically skip all that part that we are going through here. It's just to demonstrate that this option exists. So okay, this transaction went through. Okay, no results found because there's nothing to report. Let's quickly look here. Okay, this value has now been confirmed and I can redeem it. So redeeming means I will send back my long position tokens and I will receive 100 minus some fee. So I'll redeem here. And perfect. So this will render the redeem task complete, which you, as you will see in a sec. Let's wait for the transaction to go through, and afterwards I'll answer the question that came up in the Discord. Okay, perfect. So this was redeemed. Okay, there's something. Okay. Let's go to the testnet task, and you see, okay, now this task is also completed, and now we have two remaining tasks. So actually, the data provider who reported the final value, as a reward, he receives a fee, right? And which I see here. This is my reward for reporting the value. So now I have two options. I can transfer it. Okay, and I can transfer part of that to a different account. For instance, let's take that one. Let's switch back to my account. So I transfer the fee, and let's say we transfer just a part of that. It's similar to an ERC20 token transfer. Yeah. And so this is being transferred now. And yeah, I suggest you only transfer a portion and not the full one, because otherwise you will have to basically repeat all the steps that we did, which you can avoid by transferring them. So here, let's refresh the page. Sometimes it doesn't work in real time, so we're working on that. Let's see whether this task has been completed. It says not yet, but now it says completed. Perfect. Everything works as expected. And now you also see that this amount got reduced because we transferred 0.02 cents to someone else. And now we claim it. So basically, this fee sits inside DIVA protocol. So the data provider actually has to claim it in order to own that. And this is the last task within the settlement, within the set of settlement-related tasks. So let's wait for that to complete and check that the status is updated. All right. Give it a second. Okay, complete. Perfect. Let's go here. Doesn't refresh yet, and here you go. So yeah, I think the most difficult parts we have covered. I hope to see a spike in users that completed all the tasks over the next couple of weeks. Exactly. So I hope that was helpful. And yeah, so there was a question like what the testnet reward will be based on. So if you do all tasks, as you can see here, there are 15 tasks. Each task gives you 200 points. So basically, you will get 3,000 points. And if you complete everything, you get a 50% bonus. So basically, the total points that you can reach is 4,500. So that's the max. And if you own one of our whales, which is the founder's NFT collection, you can even get up to 9,000 points. So, and yeah, so there will be like a certain amount of DIVA tokens that we will distribute, and depending on how many users we will have and how many points you have collected, we will basically calculate the amount of tokens that each participant will receive in the end. And yeah, exactly. So if you want to know the details, I highly suggest, I recommend you go to our website and read the testnet announcement, which you find under our blog posts. So all the details about the testnet, how the rewards, how to participate, how the reward mechanism works, is all here. So give it a read. I hope it's not too long, and yeah, find all the information there. Any other questions? Problems in data feeds, claims, but yeah, we recorded that video. Exactly. Video is recorded and we put it on YouTube afterwards. So you guys can watch it and see how to complete these tasks. Anyone else? Any other questions? Suggestions? Feedback? Please, another show us.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I think you've covered the areas where people have most of the issues. So many people on this call should now know how to complete the task as being explained in the AMA session. So I think not so much questions will be asked now.
Okay. Good. Perfect. And yeah, I think we also mentioned that there will be a special announcement in this AMA session. So actually, our goal is to build a strong community.
Hello, sir. I have a suggestion.
So yeah. So go ahead.
Could you please, your site is only now in dark mode. Could you please bring the white mode or day mode?
Yeah. That feedback we have received, so we will work on that. So the question was like whether there is an option to toggle between dark and white mode. We will work on that. So we've taken that feedback, and yeah, currently, unfortunately, it's just dark mode. It's just easier to develop, but we try to implement the light mode as well. Exactly. All right. Yeah, and in terms of other, is it okay to use two accounts for helping finish? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that you can do. Exactly.
Thank you, sir, for the great explanation.
Yes. Welcome. You're welcome. And maybe Dan.
You have explained very nicely. I like it.
Yes, you like this. Perfect. That's great to hear. Thank you for this feedback. And yeah, you can maybe share them in the Discord whether you managed to achieve 4,500 points. So.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Yeah, sir. Actually, when it was launched, DIVA when it was launched, I was the first that I was attempted the testnet, but almost 60% works I have done, task I have completed. Where I was stuck. I was stuck on data feed, making data feed, and you know claiming fees.
Mhm.
These are things that I have been stuck. Right now, I just joined at the mid of AMA, so I miss some important videos.
Yeah.
Could you please
It's recorded.
record that video?
It's recorded.
I will check it.
Yeah, we put it on YouTube, and we will share the link in the announcement channel. So
one more question.
Yes.
I also have a question that sometimes the profile, opening the profile, it takes too much time. Takes too much time, holding too much time, and afterwards it resume. If it is if it is continue, it would be a problem. So it should be a very smooth to operate.
Yes. I mean, we acknowledge it's not the app is not perfect yet, and that's exactly why we're doing the testnet and collect feedback. And as you have seen, or as you will see in the recording, oftentimes it's not refreshed automatically. You have to do it manually. So all these kind of like small things we will try to fix during the testnet phase. So hoping to deliver like the best user experience when we finally
And
launch.
one more thing, sir, I would like to ask you that there is some notes I have found other than the deep note, or maybe some other additional notes have been introduced. So we will try that notes to start to create the profile.
Say, which notes are you referring to? I can't follow.
The collateral assets, maybe some different assets, collateral assets.
Collateral assets. Yeah, there are different collateral assets. So so here we have wrapped ETH, which you receive from the Paradigm faucet. So you could theoretically also use wrapped ETH. And then there are some other assets which we are using for testing internally. I mean, in theory, you can use any collateral token as the stake basically for the pool.
And what was the sir platform that was on for the testnet? What was the platform for right now?
What do you mean platform?
Ethereum, Ethereum.
Okay, let me check. I will get back to you.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
yeah. It was quite a couple of days before I checked, but right now I don't have it
Okay.
in front of me. Let me check.
Yeah.
I will call back to you.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Hey, there's actually one question from Dan that I think I didn't answer properly yet. So he's asking, is it okay to use two accounts for helping finishing the tasks? I mean, yes, you can use two accounts like to help fill orders, for instance, as I've demonstrated to you. But in the end, like all the tasks have to be completed with one single account. So you cannot have two accounts. With one account, you have completed the first set. With the other account, you have completed the other set of tasks, and then we would combine it. So it's not possible for us. So just to be clear that on that question. Exactly. Just continue. If there are any questions coming up afterwards, just post them in the general chat. And yeah, maybe in the interest of time, I think we probably can close that here. One announcement I want to make. So our goal is to grow a strong community, strong and active community, and we actually want to reward users that add value to the community. So what we are currently considering is adding special roles for community members that added value in any form during a month. So there will be like a nomination process. People can nominate each other, and there will be a committee. So at the beginning, it will be our team that will select community members and reward them with a new role and potentially additional DIVA tokens in the future. So if you feel you can add some value, just either helping out other community members with questions, or I don't know, like basically any visible value that you produce could result in a new role, special role, and potential rewards in the future. So just as a heads up, we are going to announce the details over the next couple of weeks. So you're the first ones to learn about what we're planning on that front. So stay active, add value, and then I think we're all gonna make it. All right. I suggest we call it a day. Was a nice first AMA session. We will do it every 2 weeks. So yes.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, sir. Can I speak?
Yes, you can. You can speak.
Yes, in sir collateral right now, I found lots of collateral.
So your connection is a little bit bad. I couldn't
The
understand the question.
WAGMI die and wait.
Yeah.
So which one we should consider?
You can basically choose anything, but the thing is, if you register, you get this one. So if you register in our Discord channel, in the register here, you see here, okay, this is a success message. You successfully registered, and you will receive these tokens, right? Which you then can use. So if you registered, you should have these tokens. If you don't, you can claim from this paradigm faucet and use red ETH instead. So that the collateral token is actually not relevant for the completion of the tasks.
One more thing, sir, I have noticed while I was testing the DIVA, there was a multiple clicks. Every transaction we have to have a two time clicks required, like creating an approval, creating 2 times and approval 2 times in the MetaMask. So this I would like to mention you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, from a user perspective, it's probably not the best thing you can do. Yeah, it's probably not the best if you have to approve every single time. We have in our docs also like a tip or maybe a hint for you. Let's say you want to create, let's say you plan to create 10 pools, okay, with each 100 in size, okay. Now what you can do is you can go here, you select 1000 as the collateral amount. You approve it once, okay. You approve it once, and then you will go back and you change it back to 100. So then you can actually, as long as you're within this 1000 allowance, you can create as many pools as you want. So now I approved it, I can go back. Now let's say I want to put the 100 here, okay. Bam, bam. And it will always show you create, so you don't have to approve. And similarly, also on the trading side. So that's also what I've demonstrated in the video. So if I want to say, if I plan to trade 100, or I don't know, I can approve a very high amount once, okay? And then I can place a lot of orders without having to approve. So yes, it's a painful process, but you also have it on Uniswap and all the other DeFi applications. So if you're a heavy crypto or DeFi application user, I think that process is familiar, should be familiar to you, and it's kind of like part of the game currently. Maybe someone will come up with a better UX at some point in the future. Yes.
Sir, one more thing I would like to ask you.
Yes.
That is the collateral. What would be the correlation with collateral and the pool that we are going to create? Like collateral, if I set the collateral 100, then what should be the next course of action that we will going to initiate?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, the collateral is what you deposit, right, into the DIVA protocol, and which is basically, and you in return you receive these position tokens, right? These two, you see they have direction reverse patterns. So both of them combined, they represent a claim on that collateral. Okay, so instead of a one-to-one relationship like you have it in, say, wrapped ETH, right? You deposit ETH and you get wrapped ETH in return, which is a one-to-one claim. In DIVA, you have basically a decomposition of a claim. So you basically have two tokens that represent the claim on the collateral that you deposit. And
Like, sir,
yeah,
like in banks in collateral, what we have deposited the collateral, banks will give us a double or 80% the amount. Is that something similar to that concept?
you're probably referring to like loan to value ratios. So here it's actually, you're not actually taking a loan. I mean, what you're doing is you're just exchanging the collateral against two positions that combined represent a claim on the collateral. So that's the only thing you're doing. So with
Right.
you basically, like, the amount of position, short and long position tokens is always equal to the amount of collateral you put in. So here in that case, you would receive 100 short position tokens and 100 long position tokens. And the maximum payout per token is always 1. So that's the maximum you can get out, the 100. And you always have, and in both cases you have 100. So 100 divided by 100 is 1. That's why you see it here being capped at 1. Right? So these positions are fully collateralized, fully backed. So you don't have, the users that are buying these positions will never need to worry that they become under collateralized or something like that. So they're always fully backed, by the collateral that is put behind basically these position tokens. Perfect. No, great questions. Thank you all. And yeah, it was great. Have a good day, everyone. Bye bye.